Well, good morning. We are over here on day 8 of my walk, and it is a beautiful morning. I want you to see the sunset here. I want you to see the sunrise. I'm a little late getting my walk started this morning. Like I said, this is day number 8. Let me get my app rolling here. I guess I need to show you my apps that I use. This Under Armour walk, map my walk.
Start workout.
Anyways, put that in my bag. Using a different camera today. I'm trying to use my Action 4 instead of my Pocket 3. I need my water. Speaking of water, okay, so that's one of the things I want to talk about today. Let's get going. So, yeah, this is day number 8 of my walk, and I'm gonna do the 4.7 miles, I think, again. Pretty much got that down in my head where I gotta go. It's 3 laps around this perimeter of this park, and then another like half a lap over there by the concession stand. And I could probably stretch it. I'd probably make it go 5 miles if I wanted to, and I might do that today. Anyways, I took a day off yesterday. What did I do? Oh yeah, I went, well, I'm just about finished with my deck. Y'all know I've been working on restaining my deck, and the sun's bright this morning, ain't it? Anyways, we've been having some afternoon storms, so I haven't been able to work on the deck in the afternoon. Obviously, if you're painting or staining and it rains right after that, that's a bad thing, isn't it? Anyhow, that parking lot over there, that's Dana Corporation. I think they do car parts. Yeah, we gotta figure some things to talk about this morning. Okay, let me change this camera setting 1 second. I guess we'll start off by talking about water. Okay, recently I was doing some reading about some things, and drinking water is very important. Okay, and you know, as we get older, I think it gets a little harder for us to consume water. I think even younger it may be harder for us to consume water, but water is very important to our body from what I read. You know, one thing I've noticed is senior citizens like us, we tend to drink less water. You know, I've read an article where somebody wrote that, and I don't know if they're a medical professional or what, that we should have a glass of water first thing in the morning when we get up and just before we retire to go to bed. Okay, now sometimes I try to do that. Okay, now especially here since I'm walking, I do have a half a cup of coffee. And look, I know there's water in coffee, but that's not water. Okay, first off, caffeine is a diuretic. Okay, some more traffic coming down the road. Caffeine is diuretic, and it actually will dehydrate you. Okay, so having coffee is not water. When I say water, I mean just water. Okay, it's nothing but water. My stepdad, he's really bad about that. I know there's been times where he has been dehydrated, or he has become dizzy or something like that, you know, working out in the barn or something. And I noticed he doesn't drink any water. And I asked him one time, I said, you need to drink more water. He said, I don't like it. I said, what do you mean you don't like it? what do you don't like about water? It don't taste good. I said, taste good? It's not supposed to taste good. It's water. You feel like you got to have lemonade, okay? A lot of people will drink iced tea, lemonade, that kind of stuff, but I don't think that hydrates you, okay? So my message to you today is when you get up in the morning, and just try this for a while. When you get up in the morning, before you have your first cup of coffee, have a glass of water, okay? 8 ounces. Before you go to bed, and I know what some of you are going to say, okay? All right, I know what some are going to say. They're going to say, well, if I drink water before I go to bed, I'll be up peeing half the night. Well, I don't think that's true, okay? But having that water will also not only keep you hydrated, which is important for the blood cells, but it also keep your digestive system moving along really well, okay? It helps in the digestive process, having water. That's why people, at supper time, I like milk myself, okay? I like to drink milk at supper time, but you really should be drinking water, more of it, and maybe water at supper time. Hey, I tell you what, if you go eat a meal at a restaurant, okay, and you order a Coca-Cola or a cup of coffee or any of that stuff, it's going to cost you $3, okay? If you ask them for a glass of water instead, I notice they don't charge you for that at a restaurant. So you could save yourself, if you and your wife are going out to eat, you can save yourself $5, $6 by just drinking water. So there's some savings right there. Hey, speaking of coffee, we went to the grocery store yesterday shopping. People, prices are going up again, okay? I normally buy a container of Folgers half calf, and I don't know how much it lasts about 2 weeks, okay? I make 1 pot a day of that. It was like $14, $13.90, something like that, which I think is about the price it's been for a while, okay? But I went to get a container of decaf Folgers, okay, decaf. Holy moly, they went up $6 on that stuff. I want to say that was about $13. I think both coffees went up. I want to say the decaf coffee was about $13. It's now $19 for decaf. I told my wife, says, now we only drink decaf in the evening time. And I said, I'm not going to buy that. I'm not paying $20 for that coffee. Now we have a Keurig, okay, and it can be expensive too. But I told her that I've been wanting to cut back my coffee. It's wet right here. I wonder if I can probably get my damn shoes wet right here. It rained last night. Somebody put a table out here in the middle of the pathway. I don't know who did that. Anyways, I told her, I said, I've been wanting to cut back my coffee consumption anyways. So I'm not buying it. I'm not spending $20 for a thing of coffee. I said, I tell you what, I'll just have a Keurig of an evening if I want one. And really, to be honest with y'all, I probably ought to quit drinking coffee, even if it's decaf, of an evening, okay? I heard that decaf coffee still has caffeine in it. I don't think they can get it all out of there. And, I don't know. I got to consider it, but it may be I only have one Keurig decaf coffee of an evening. Last night I did it because I'm out of that decaf coffee, that Folgers. I did it last night. I had 2 cups, okay, of decaf. So, maybe I'll have one you know, about 6 o'clock, and that's it. No more. Drink water after that. Hey, that's a good idea. Drink water. So anyways, in my last video, day number 7, I think I reported that I lost 4 pounds. Okay. I'm not too sure that's really true. Okay. That I lost 4 pounds. I think some of that could have been water weight. Okay. Maybe, I don't know. But I don't think I lost 4 pounds. And I'm not, you know, I'm not really concentrating on losing spider webs. I'm not really concentrating on losing weight. Okay. What I'm trying to do is get fit, a little better fitness in my life. Okay. You know, when you retire, you've worked a long time, and it's real easy to just sit down and not do anything. Okay. And I've pretty much done that since I retired. Okay. Yeah, I have. It's been 6 months now since I retired. And of course, I retired in the winter time. And I think that that's, you know, harder on you because of the colder months when you retire in the winter time. But I think, you know, I deserve to sit down for 6 months. All right. But it's real easy to continue that and not get out and do things and move around and what have you. And I guess going to the doctor a few weeks ago was a little bit of a wake-up call. Usually is, isn't it? You don't feel good, you go to the doctor and you get this wake-up call. So yeah, usually is. I'm not ready to lay down. Okay, I'm not ready to go horizontal. Okay, and you know what I mean when I say that. There's a lot of things I want to do, I want to focus on, and in order to do some of those things, I needed to get fit. Okay, that's why I'm out here walking, is I'm trying to get fit. All right. And so far I'm doing pretty good. I think it's going to take time, but for you, you know, if you're getting ready to retire, you need to think about goals that are obtainable. Okay, not big lofty goals, ones that you know you can do. Now I don't know what your hobbies are, where your hobbies take you. Is it outdoors, indoors, or what? But I think it's important when you do retire that you have a hobby, and one that you can afford to maintain. Okay, that's important. And my hobby's kind of expensive, photography, but I had everything lined up before I retired, so I wasn't spending any money on anything. I still spent a little bit of money on my hobby, but anyways, have a hobby, have goals that are obtainable, and don't let yourself, wow, what are those? I seen them yesterday. There are 2 hawks. They're up here hunting this area. They were here the day before yesterday too. I think they're Cooper's hawks. Anyways, there's 2 of them. There are a pair of them. That's pretty amazing for me as a photographer. Of course, I don't have a camera today to take a picture of them. Anyways, where was I? Oh, obtainable goals. And not become a couch potato. Okay. Now, when you retire has a lot to do with this. And what I mean by that is, I retired on December 31st, which is winter time. It's cold out. You know, it's real easy to just sit down in the house, drink coffee, eat Cheetos for a long time. I think if you're going to retire, this is what I would consider for a retirement date. Okay, boy, the white balance looks terrible. Terrible. For a retirement date, I would consider retiring in like March. Okay, that way you're coming into springtime and you are less likely to confine yourself to being indoors, okay? Because that to me is one of the reasons that I probably sat down and didn't do anything, is I retired in December, okay? So that's one thing I do differently. I would retire like in March. So if you're listening to this and you made it this far in the video, take heed to that, okay? Here in just a minute, I'm gonna make my 1 mile mark. I kind of know where it's at in my head, doing this. I need to pick up my pace a little bit. That's pretty amazing back here, seeing them 2 hawks. So that's another thing, too, is just retire, not in the wintertime. Hey, while we're talking about that, retiring, okay, when I waited till I was 67. Don't do that, okay? That to me is that was a bad move on my part. That was a real bonehead move. I should have retired when my wife retired at 65, okay? And you ask why I say that. Well, boards are slick. You ask why I say that? Well, there's a lot of reasons. A lot can happen to you in 2 years, from 65 to 67. Now, the reason why I waited till 67, and it was actually 67 and 2 months, was I wanted to get to my full retirement age. And the reason why I wanted to do that, okay, is because I thought that I might continue to work. Why is that silly? And if I waited till my full retirement age, from what I understood, and I was probably wrong, that I could earn as much as I wanted without being penalized on my Social Security. That's not exactly true, okay? I don't know where I got that information. And the statement may be true, but in reality, something else goes on. And I'm not sure, like, for example, my wife retired 2 years before me, and I continued working. Well, they penalized her Social Security, or I had to pay taxes on a portion of her Social Security income, which I thought was weird. But anyhow, I made too much money. Okay, that's the problem as a person. So I think I would have been better off to retire at 65. Now, that's just a piece of advice. You have to do your own homework. I would say that there's a few things you need to have in order before you actually retire financially. It depends on how much money you got in your 401k or your retirement savings, whatever the retirement income you have besides Social Security, okay? Now, I worked a long time. I get my Social Security income, and I'm gonna do a budgeting video pretty soon, but my Social Security check is about $2,650, I think. And my wife's is about $1,300. So in combination, her and I, we get about $4,000 a month in Social Security, okay? Currently, we are not taking any distributions from our 401ks. We haven't needed to. And I don't see that we will need to, but I may start taking distributions next year from my 401k. I'll be 68 at that point, so I may start taking like $400 or $500 a month out of it. Anyways, what's important is that you go into retirement with no debt, okay? And I'm talking about totally no debt. I'm talking about no house payment, no car payment, any kind of consumer debt. Get rid of. Pay it off. Pay it off as soon as you can. So my wife and I, we bought new vehicles 3 years ago, and we were both still working, still making pretty good money. And what we did was we called those our retirement vehicles, and we put a big chunk of money down on them, and we only financed them for 3 years with anticipation of us retiring. So my wife's car was paid off last June. Okay, yes, we paid it off last June. My vehicle will be paid off in November, okay? And the payment on it is $450 a month, which is reasonable these days compared to vehicle prices. So mine will be paid off in November. I only got like 4 or 5 more months to go. We still had a house mortgage until last month, okay? And I had to pay my house off, and the mortgage payoff in it was like $12,900. So we took the money from our savings account and paid the house off. So really, I mean, I didn't practice what I'm preaching, but almost. My truck payment is the last consumer debt we have, okay, that we're making payments on. So when that's paid off, you know, it'll be a lot better. We'll have $450 more a month to buy coffee. Anyways, that's a cool picture right there. So having your debt paid off is important, okay? And if you're going to retire, as far as savings, we had a pretty good savings account at the bank that we saved up along with our 401ks. Now, my 401ks are not big. You know, I don't have $500,000, but I do have enough in there that I think that we will be okay. We're not going to be buying any new vehicles, you know, for the foreseeable future. And, you know, we can probably handle a large home repair, maybe a heat and air unit replaced or something like that. So yeah, having money in your savings account is important. So you're really going to change your lifestyle when you retire, okay? As far as your spending goes, your spending habits, that kind of stuff. And I really can't tell you your situation. I'm not a financial expert. I can just tell you what I've gone through the last 6 months. We're going to finish up this walk. I did 4.81 miles, which is about 1/10 more than I did Thursday. It took me 1 hour and 43 minutes and 8 seconds to do that. Let me save this for a second here. It says I burnt 1,300 calories, okay? Now we're gonna look at the Apple Health and see how many steps I got in. So it says I did 10,232 steps. So I have done 10,000 steps already today on my walk. Anyways, feeling pretty good. It's now about 7:40. I'm gonna go home and have me a little breakfast, maybe another cup of coffee, and then plan out the rest of my day. Anyways, thanks for coming along today, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye now.